Alaikum. Can you hear me? Could you start lecture? Hello.
यस सर, आपकी आवाज आ रही है सर।
This is the last lecture in the series of CNS infections. It's stroke. And inshallah, after this lecture, we will start cardiology section. We'll start with the stroke. Although stroke is most common in adulthood, but when you will visit to Gates Ward, you will see most of the cases of stroke in AIDS patient also, especially with infections, CNS infections. So let's discuss. The stroke can happen at any point in a person's lifetime and from infancy to adulthood. But I would say rather from the fetal age. Even some bleeding disorders can cause stroke inside the utero. So stroke is caused by the infection of normal flow of blood to brain, either by a blockage or a rupture in the blood vessels. When a part of the brain doesn't receive its regular flow of blood that carries vital nutrients and oxygen, brain cells die, causing a loss of brain function. So, stroke caused by blockage of blood vessels. So again, if we define concise it's an alteration, usually acute in brain function due to injured or killed brain cells. Acute onset of a focal neurological deficit in a child is stroke until proven otherwise. So any child which is brought with a history of acute weakness of any part, sudden loss of vision, sudden loss of hearing, sudden movement loss of any limb is a stroke until proven otherwise. So incidence is between 1.2 to 2.5 per thousand children per year. And if we divide the ischemic and hemorrhagic stroke, so usually ischemic stroke is most common, almost 55%, and 45% is a hemorrhagic stroke. Pathophysiology. Stroke occurs when the blood flow to an area of the brain is increased. There are two major categories: ischemia and hemorrhage. We say ischemia blood and oxygen supply to brain, and hemorrhagic when there is a rupture or burst of the blood vessel. So in ischemic stroke, you can see there is occlusion or blockage of the blood vessel, and in hemorrhage there is bleeding inside the parenchyma of brain. So now we'll discuss about ischemic stroke. The common pathway of ischemic stroke is lack of sufficient blood flow to perfuse cerebral tissue due to narrowed or blocked arteries leading to or within the brain. Any artery giving blood supply to brain is occluded anywhere in the pathway will lead to ischemic stroke. Subdivided mostly into thrombotic and embolic stroke. Second is hemorrhagic stroke. So they are due to rupture of blood vessel leading to compression of brain tissue filament expanding hematoma. Once there is a bleeding, then there is expansion edema causing further tissue damage. The pressure may lead to loss of blood supply to affected tissue with resulting infarction and the blood released by brain. Hemorrhage appears to have a direct toxic effects on brain tissue and vascular circulation. So, broadly speaking, hemorrhagic stroke is mostly more dangerous than the ischemic stroke. What is the etiology of ischemic stroke? So there are multiple factors: cardiac lesions, hematological problems, vasculopathies, trauma. In cardiac problems, what's the most common cause? Congenital heart disease, especially cyanotic congenital heart disease. And if patient is valvular disease, get infected, develop infected endocarditis, they are at risk of developing ischemic stroke. Any valvular disease can cause clot formation, and this can lead to emboli formation. And even arrhythmias, same, they can cause blood clottage, and that blood clot can become emboli and lead to ischemic stroke. Second is hematologic. Most common is sickle cell disease, then inherited coagulopathies, myeloproliferative disorders, and in vasculopathies, fibromuscular dysplasia, infections, Takayasu's arteritis, SLE, and other autoimmune diseases. And in trauma, any blunt trauma to posterior pharynx, cervical spine rotation, or dislocation, they can lead to ischemic stroke. And then there are metabolic causes, homocystinuria, or mitochondrial encephalopathy, lactic acidosis, and stroke-like events. So this is an inherited metabolic disorder, broadly called MELAS. Certain drugs, oral contraceptives, intervention, extracorporeal membrane oxygenation, cardiac surgery, cardiac catheterization, they all can lead to due to fibromatosis, tuberous sclerosis, syndrome. What is the etiology of hemorrhagic stroke? Again, certain vascular malformation. Most common is the arterial malformation. Capillary telangiectasias, secular or infective aneurysms, hypertension, bleeding diastasis, especially factor deficiencies, hemophilia, factor 8 or factor 9 deficiency, thrombocytopenia, disseminated intravascular coagulations, leukemia, lymphomas. These all can lead to hemorrhagic stroke, and other important is vasculitis. How the patient present? So, as name indicates, most of the patients, 91% of patients, do present with hemisensory signs, do present with visual field defects. If palsy or head turning. So if and these are arterial strokes, and there are also draining area of the blood, which is called sinuses. If sinus is gets involved, then what will be the presentation? There will be severe headache and seizures. If parenchyma is more cortical area is involved, these can lead to seizures. Especially they are common in cerebral venous thrombosis, and patient can become unconscious. Embolism, what will be the presentation in embolism? There will be sudden loss of function, and symptom depend on the size of the occluded vessel. Carotid artery is blocked, there will be signs symptoms according to that presentation. If cardiac problem is there, there will be preceding cardiac problem, history of the cardiac problem will be there. In arterial thrombosis, there will be global symptoms of headache, vomiting, and TIAs, especially transient ischemic attacks, improve with the time, and it should there will be slowly progressive course. What will be the venous thrombosis is there are sagittal sinus, sinus. So if they get thrombosed, the patient will present with seizures, raised raised intracranial pressure will present with headache, vomiting, level of consciousness, fast breathing. Okay, so there will be altered mental status and can present with focal neurologic signs. But in venous thrombosis, most commonly they will present with seizures and raised intracranial pressure. And again, parenchymal hemorrhage consists of severe sudden headache, followed by vomiting, deterioration of and their history and examination suggests of tumors. Usually they present with long history of headache, early morning vomiting. There will be blood vision. So trauma, again there will be history of trauma. In CNS infection, they will present most commonly with the fever, vomiting, followed by stroke. There are certain inherited demyelinated conditions. So they again is the long-lasting process, not an acute problem. Throat paresis. After a certain in epilepsy, there is history of movements. After that movement limb doesn't move for a time. So it calls throat paresis. In migraine, there can be a transient stroke, but that improves and there is history suggestive of migraine. Hypoglycemia, again after giving glucose, patient improves in certain epilepsies. How will you investigate? Look for any sign of infection. If there you can watch for bleeding. ESR is blood culture if you are suspecting infection. Thanks, please. Coagulation studies to exclude bleeding. Examination if you are suspecting demyelinating infection. Profile if you are suspecting metabolic profile like homocystinuria. ECG and echo if you are suspecting disease. On the right side, you can see a large infarct. On the left side, dense shadow showing bleed. MRI again showing bleeding. This is angiography showing aneurysm. What is the treatment of acute stroke? So again, it's a multidisciplinary approach to achieve rapid restoration and the blood supply.
वो ड्राइंग आज मैं लाइन और इंशाल्लाह आज तक कोशिश है मेरी आज कंप्लीट कर दूंगा
Our main goal is
बाकी रहेंगी सिर्फ 5-6 सीटें वो भी इंशाल्लाह कर दूंगा ड्राइंग कर दूंगा इंशाल्लाह
the second is and further supportive care. Supportive care is done with all unconscious patients. Is done
ठीक है उसके मतलब एक दिन भी मेरा मुश्किल है बाकी सारा कोई नहीं पाता एक दिन पूरा ना सो जाएगा इंग्लिश तो भाई अपने से होता है
ना तुमने निकाला मेरे बुक दोगे तो मुझसे पढ़ो
हां इंग्लिश तो बोलो
if patient has maintain normal temperature.
इंशाल्लाह इंशाल्लाह अपने आप का रवैया ठीक करो सब कुछ ठीक हो जाएगा
Maintain blood glucose less than 300 milligram per deciliter. Correct hypoglycemia. Treatment of hypertension is controversial, but usually blood pressure is kept at the upper side to maintain mean cerebral perfusion pressure. Treatment of hemorrhagic stroke again consists of same stabilizing the child, controlling blood pressure and body temperature, and helping the treating the hemorrhage itself. Surgical options may include microsurgery to clip the aneurysm or otherwise management is supported. So in ischemic stroke, if it's confirmed after CT scan that there is a stroke, then we start with the heparin. After IV heparin, we give warfarin for a long-term management. Nowadays, is
कॉल आ रही है
cardiology. They do percutaneous angioplasty. Even in base setups, now in ischemic stroke, they do angioplasty like they put a stent and patient is improved within hours. In our setup, we start with heparin, then we put patient on warfarin.
Oh my god, mic off करो तुम लोग
Disprin is also given and low antiplatelet clopidogrel is also given. Again, it's not an acute problem. It persists for a long time. The patient needs long-term management. Most common is physiotherapy, intensive rehabilitation efforts. So physiotherapy, if patient has seizures, continue anticonvulsants, speech therapy. What is the prognosis? Survival in first month after ischemic stroke is usually better, 85 to 95%, but after hemorrhagic stroke, it slightly decreases 60 to 80%. Prognosis better in children than in adults because due to some factors, usually it is due to infection in children, and as infection gets better, patient usually improve. Residual deficit occurs in more than 75% of cases. So their weakness takes long time to improve. In disability, most commonly it is hemiparesis. There could be learning disabilities, mental retardation, seizure, movement disorders. So I think with this we have done. So it was the last lecture in the series of CNS. If you have any question, you can ask. No question? Okay, thank you.